Welcome to CCN Midday News. I am your host, Captivating Krishna. Here are some of your top stories for today, May 7th. Killed in cold blood, Biden and Abrams calling for action in the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery. Researchers find a new coronavirus strain more contagious, potentially impacting the COVID-19 vaccine research. Mass incarceration poses a uniquely American risk in the coronavirus pandemic. And the TSA hoarded nearly $1.3 million in N95 masks, even though the airports are empty and they don't need them. A beef bandit stole $200 worth of meat from a New York City butcher shop. And lastly, the best way to treat a painful hornet sting, according to experts. Let's get to the news. Former Vice President Joe Biden and former Georgia Democratic gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams called for action and a formal investigation in the aftermath of the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery, the 25-year-old black man shot while jogging by a white man who suspected him of being a burglar. Arbery was killed on February 23rd in a neighborhood outside of the city of Brunswick, Georgia, but no one has been arrested or charged with his death. A Georgia prosecutor called for a grand jury to review the case on Tuesday and to decide if criminal charges are warranted. And I'm not sure if everyone has seen the video of this tragic event. Just to be mindful, it is a bit graphic, but here you go. I do apologize for the lack of sound. When I was trying to transfer the video, I could hear the sound, but when I put the video in to play in the newsreel, it actually had no sound. So if you want to hear the video in its entirety, the link will be in the description. Thank you. A group of leading international researchers have concluded the coronavirus behind the global pandemic has already mutated into a second strand, which appears to have spread faster and wider than the original one, potentially undermining efforts to create a vaccine. The researchers, yet to be pre-reviewed, but posts online by scientists from the US and the UK also found a newer strand, or a G strand, may undermine an immunity gained from infection to original strand. Fundamental flaws in the models that the Trump administration officials have used to project the curve of the coronavirus outbreak as it rips across the United States. These models were based on other countries' experiences with the virus, from China to Italy, and do not account for the uniquely American risk factor, mass incarceration. There are currently 2.3 million people incarcerated in the United States jails and prisons. The U.S. accounts for 4% of the world's population and 21% of its prisoners, while incarcerated people have been released and trickled across the country at the U.S. As the U.S. became the global epicenter of the pandemic, these released are hardly making a dent in the density of the prison and jail population of people, comparison to the tens of thousands of people freed in other countries from far lower incarcerated rates. So far, at least 295 men and women in the United States have died after contracting the virus behind bars, a figure that is climbing day by day and remains drastically underreported, according to experts who have been tracking it. The Transportation Security Administration, otherwise known as TSA, ignored guidance from the Department of Homeland Security and intel pushback from two agency officials when it stockpiled more than 1.3 million N95 respirator masks instead of donating them to hospitals. Internal records and interviews show that internal concerns were raised by late or early April when the COVID-19 cases were growing by the thousands and hospitals in some parts of the country were overrun and desperate for supplies. The agency held on to a pile of life-saving masks even as the number of people coming through the U.S. airports had dropped by 95%, and the TSA instructed many employees to stay home to avoid being infected. Meanwhile, other federal agencies, including the Department of Veterans Affairs' vast network of hospitals, the TSA has not required its screeners to wear N95s, which require fitting and training to use properly. An intel memo showed that most are using surgical masks, which are no more wider available, but are less effective and lack the same filtering availability. A ham-handed crook was caught red-handed after fleeing a Brooklyn store with a shopping basket full of meat, the store manager told the Post. The caper kicked off a meat palace market at the 1811 Church Avenue in Flatbush around 1 p.m. on Wednesday. Video surveillance shows the man, who was wearing a white mask, then filled his baskets up with prime meats. The thief then suddenly sprinted out the front door into the street with a female clerk in hot pursuit, the footage shows. When the clerk caught the thief, he cut her left index finger with an unknown object. The cops chased the thief to a nearby building and arrested him. Witnesses say the clerk was observed receiving treatment on the scene. The NYPD did immediately provide information about the incident. And just in case you missed it, giant Asian Hornets have been spotted in the United States for the first time, and it's safe to say the news has been a bit unsettling. The murder hornets, as known for their toxic sting, have the ability to wipe out an entire honeybee hive in a small matter of hours. Take a deep breath, however. The small number of sightings have been confirmed in Washington state and parts of Canada, so it's not super likely that you'll see or come across one in any parts of the United States just yet. Still, you might stumble upon a native hornet as they become more active throughout the spring and the summer. Once again, thank you for watching CCN Midday News. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification button so you will never miss another news update. Have a great day. Peace.